Hello, everyone. So in this activity, I just have an activity to hopefully give people a chance to become obviously a little bit more vulnerable when it comes to language learning, but also just give you the time to maybe practice another language that's not English or Spanish and introducing yourself to other people. And so one of the reasons I came up with this activity, if you do the first activity that I have on there, is because I wanted to give an activity where you can feel like, okay, I can do this. And one of the ways you can do this by practicing it and so one of the things I talked about in previous videos is just how this country is such full and rich of immigrants and different cultures and languages. And one of the things that we want to do as we begin to take over the population, the majority, we're going to no longer be a minority, but a majority, and hopefully one day also taking over positions of power. That when we as a culture are in those positions, we don't forget that other languages are in the same place that we were in, right? And not forget their languages and that their cultures are as important as our Spanish and our English in order to break that cycle. And I think, practicing and even just attempting to say hello and goodbye is just a small way to start breaking that cycle of like acknowledging who they are and their language, right? Along with ours too. You could definitely, once you learn from them how to say hello and goodbye, be like, oh, well, in Spanish, you say hola. You want to practice with me? Hola. Like even that, just opening up the doors to that learning. All right. So that's why I chose this activity. Now that you know why, you're going to go back after this video, go back into the slide. This is the Flipgrid link. When you click on the Flipgrid link, you're going to just go ahead and join in with Google. And then you want to make sure you're using your colorado.edu email because that's what I put in as being acceptable. Once you do that, it should log you in successfully and you can record a response. The instructions are in here. And again, I want you to think of someone that you might interact that speaks in a different language. I know for ladies and gentlemen, some gentlemen as well, when we go to get our pedicures and manicures done, I know there's always this case of like, oh, they're talking about me or blah, blah, blah. It's like, let's start breaking that ice and saying, hey, how do you say hello? Or maybe you even, well, I wouldn't assume. I would ask them. But even like starting to say, okay, I think maybe they're Vietnamese. So I think let me just even start looking at Vietnamese. Or if you interact at school with someone that has a different language, that would be a great way as well. Or if you don't have any right now that you can't think of any, then just pick one, right? And so pick one that you might be interested and then practice how to say. I would use either Google Translate or YouTube to help you with the pronunciation. We have internet and knowledge at our fingertips. Practice for about a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 times, and then come over here and record yourself. There's an example right here of me doing it in Korean and practicing hello and goodbye because that's something I need to practice a bit more. And so you can get a view of that. You don't have to record your face if that makes you going to be more embarrassed because I know it was for me. And so definitely that's an option as well. And then you just record yourself. You will record a response. This is going to pop up here. And then now you can then make those changes here to be like, okay, you can add some, filters, whatever, or you can just say mic only, and then that will pop up as well. And then you can record yourself practicing those languages, those 2 greetings. And that's what the activity is. And then hopefully you can be vulnerable enough to, if you go to these places and interact with a superstore, supermarket, or, like I said, places that you exchange services and they give you something, obviously you pay for it, but they give you something, you say, oh, thank you. You can ask them like, oh, what language do you speak? Or how do you say thank you in your own language? And then even just acknowledging that, because one of the things that kind of just blows my mind away from the video in the previous lesson or activity is just like, how is it that we live side by side by so many languages and yet we don't even know how to greet them or greet another language that's not Spanish or English? So yeah, that's it. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoy. Bye.